Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are at. I hope you're having a fantastic day. It's SoulSaint here, and we have a great collaboration that's in our hands that I'm proud to be able to expose to you guys today. We have Raid Shadow Legends partnering up with Capcom's very own Monster Hunter, which we're going to be introducing to you guys 5 new legendary champions that are heavily Monster Hunter inspired, and all of this is starting the 9th of January. We got a lot to talk about, and I don't know if you can kind of see it. They're standing right on top of the dragon here in this image. We have 5 of them that we're going to be showing to you today, and I'm not going to hold you guys up. We're going to get right into it. I'm going to talk about each one of them as I can show you a quick turnaround about each one of them, and then from there we're going to go ahead and break down the last 2 and that I've been able to see their kits and give you guys a little bit of an idea of what to expect coming from them. Also, we're going to talk about what they're going to be, what you're going to have to do in order to get these champions along the way. So look forward to it, and let's dig right in. First one we got up today is going to be Alatreon. Alatreon's going to be a champion that is very, very interesting. He's a part of the, if you can't tell from the background and how similar it looks to some other champions in the same faction, he is going to be a part of the Knights Revenant team, the faction that's going to be going there. Now, this one is a Spirit Legendary Support type champion. So support being the key word, that's going to be kind of interesting. You notice how cool the weapon looks? It's actually very, very dope. It has like this scythe, like death scythe. So as a matter of fact, it looks, I believe the actual name is called Dark Claw Demise. It is a longsword type for this champion. It's really, really cool. I mean, this guy, you can see he's got like the dragon armor on it. I mean, once again, the development team when it comes to the graphics department for not only this Raid Shadow Legends, but we also have it for Monster Hunter. I mean, they're phenomenal. It's just top tier all the way. Now, I don't have anything to provide outside of this. The fact that they are going to be legendary champions inside that faction. So I definitely noticed that Alatreon is inside the Knights Revenant, and that's going to be really, really cool to showcase here. In addition to that, we also are going to move on to the next one, which is Fatalis Blade Master. Fatalis Blade Master, on the other hand, here is going to be a champion that is for the Dark Elves. Look at how big that sword, that great sword. As a matter of fact, he has the weapon called Black Fatalis Blade. It's really cool looking. For those of you guys that are into Monster Hunter, you may have a little bit of a nod towards that. Being a part of the Dark Elves, it is going to be a Void Legendary HP type champion, so maybe this guy's going to pack a punch from the HP side of things as an HP nuker. Who knows? Very cool looking. I like how they have like a little nod towards, like, it looks like this demonic eye that's in the center of the helmet as well as the center of the chest plate. And if you take a look a little bit more here, you can kind of see, looks like he's got like this green glow hewing chalice or something around the hips. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but it looks really, really cool. Maybe it's a potion. Who knows? I'm not entirely sure. These champions look phenomenal. I have to be honest with you guys. It's fantastic. Now, I might butcher this one. I'm going to try my best here to make sure I got it, but it says R Nergigante, if I'm saying that, Nergigante, Gigante, I think it is. Forgive me if I'm butchering it, but Nergigante Archer that we're going to be able to do. Now, she is going to be a part of the Barbarian tribe. I don't know if you guys noticed this. Now, she, of course, is going to have the bow, as well as it being called the Doom Shaft. Excuse me, not demon, but Doom Shaft. Barbarian being a Spirit Legendary Defense type champion. This one looks really, really cool. I mean, like, you kind of see like claw-like features amongst the kit. I see some feathers as well as like looks like horns, and I see dragon, scaly or leathery like looks on it. I mean, like, phenomenal piece to look at. I can't deny it. These guys look absolutely fantastic. Now, I get to show you something a little bit better than this, though, when it comes to our next couple champions, because we're going to dive into their kit too as well. And the next one we have on our list that we're going to talk about is Rathalos Blade Master. Now, Rathalos Blade Master is an interesting one because not only was the way it looks super cool. I got to give a special nod to it, especially like the long sword katana looking like aspect. Now, I will say this one's going to be a part of the Bannerlord. So if you're looking interested to picking up some effort from an attack type legendary champion, Rathalos might be the play for you. Now, not only that, he's going to be a force type champion, and the blade you see him, or the weapon you see him with, is called the Wyvern Blade Fall. It is a long sword type weapon, so it's really, really cool to see. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Out of all the Monster Hunter inspired champions here, these guys look really, really cool, and I think this one has a special place for me because I love the way the design of the armor mixed in with like the scale like leather, or the scales of like a dragon, for example, like kind of meshed together with the katana. I mean, this just looks like premium. A premium design for a character, and I can't deny it. Now, we are going to break down their kit a little bit more here, and I wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of a chance to see a little bit as we look at this champion and his turnaround. Rathalos is going to have a couple of abilities along with a passive and an aura that we're going to be able to rock out with. So, let's break it down. His Spirit Thrust, which is going to be his A1, has attack one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a 60 decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. If the target is a boss, this debuff cannot be resisted. Very interesting. Now, his A2, which is normally at start a 4-turn cooldown, can be booked down to a 3-turn cooldown, is a attack one enemy. Every second use of this skill in a round will attack all enemies instead. So every other usage of this ability is going to attack all enemies instead. Will it also ignore 25% of the target's defense? But if the target is a boss, it will ignore 100% of the target's defense. Now, that's a lot of ignored percent defense. I'm going to say that right now. That's huge. That's like true damage, basically. Now, Overhead Slash, which is a 4-turn cooldown at base, which can also be booked down to a 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, and before attacking gives increased crit damage buff and an increased speed buff by 30% for both of them, respectively, on this champion for 2 turns. So Rathalos can beef himself up so he can crack a lot more damage by at least 30% of his crit damage there. And then he's also faster as a byproduct of this buff that he's going to be able to do with his Overhead Slash. And then it does damage. So, being on a 3-turn cooldown, it's like he's going to be able to cycle into this pretty well, huh? Now, his passive is going to be called Rathalos Mastery, which is inflicts 50% more damage against targets under HP burn. Interesting. But he also receives 25% less damage from enemies under HP burn debuffs. Very good synergy with a lot of champions we might have access to, huh? That sounds pretty cool. Every 5th skill used by this champion deals 200% more damage. Phenomenal scaling, it sounds like, already. I'm very excited. His aura is going to have an increased ally attack in dungeons by 30%. This champion, just to put you guys in the context of this, is a monster. A monster hunter, for lack of better words. Let's just put it that way. This is that properly announced, if we're going to be honest with you guys. This champion is literally going to be true to the inspiration that he's derived from. So I have to be honest with you. Rathalos sounds like a hitter. Like that person's going to pack a punch when it comes to doing damage, especially against PvE content like bosses, for example. It sounds like the scaling is ridiculously higher. So, and then on top of that too, over the course of a fight, if we have like the Battle of Attrition, you're going to start seeing some scaling kind of go in place where like some abilities are going to kind of kick it up a notch, and then every other 5th use, it's like crazy the amount of output you can expect from something like this. So maybe longer term fights might be something that's up the alley for people. We're not entirely sure. Now, with that being said, I will say this, just in terms of when you can access and acquire this champion, believe it or not, it's going to start pretty quickly. He's going to be a 7-day login champion. So starting on January 9th, we're going to be able to start getting our grabs of him. But the last date to finish the 7-day login program is going to be around the 5th of March, if I'm reading this correctly. So make sure that you are at least logging in at least 7 times daily to get yourself a Rathalos Blade Master basically for free. So we appreciate it, player. Thank you. I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be really, really cool to see. I am very hyped and I'm very hopeful to see the output that this champion is gonna be able to bring to the table. Looks like it's gonna be very phenomenal. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Now, with that being said, I have one more that I want to bring to the table for you guys before we let you go into the great world that is Teleria. We have one more champion that we're going to show you guys, which is going to be Zinogre Blade Master. Now, I personally like the way that the design of the character looks. I mean, it's obviously going to be a part of the Shadowkin tribe, as you can see behind the turnaround. It is going to be a legendary attack type champion as well, but it's going to be magic affinity. So, Zinogre Blade Master will come in handy when dealing with PvE content, that's what I'm being told here, such as Fire Knight's Castle, both normal and hard mode, Curse City, and Doom Tower. Basically, anywhere where multi-hitting is required. So she's going to be not only someone that hits, but she's going to hit a lot. Having a total of 11 hits on all skills, topped with some debuffs and useful buffs, literally makes Zinogre Blade Master an unstoppable power that swipes everything on its way. The passive skill helps to use low HP in your favor, so we're going to have to take a look at that in just a moment, by increasing damage dealt by this champion up to 50% per 50% HP lost. Paired with being able to be saved from dying with 1 HP and healing up to 50%, makes it possible to cheat death itself. Ooh. So we have a built-in mechanic to basically be able to survive a one hit or a lethal hit, huh? Let's get a breakdown of this champion's kit, and we'll break it down as we go along. So, Zinogre Blade Master, like I said, magic legendary attack type champion for the Shadowkins. Blade combo, the A1, is going to be an attack one enemy 3 times, has a 30% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. this scales up with books in terms of damage. So look forward to booking her up and getting a little bit more pack for your punch in the A1. Now, having a weekend's also pretty dope too. Blade Strike, which is on a 4-turn cooldown, can be booked down to a 3-turn cooldown. It attacks one enemy 4 times. Each hit increases this champion's turn meter by 5%. I think of like Razzlevarg in terms of something comparable in terms of this champion's kit. Also places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. Now that's really, really good. Also sounds very reminiscent of someone like Razzlevarg. Inspired by the bunny, huh? I'm not gonna lie, the damage scaling as well as being on a 3-turn cooldown sounds like a very, very strong ability, a strong champion to maybe infuse into a lot of compositions. And I'm gonna be honest with you, one of the first ones that surprised a lot of people in terms of his viability is going to be, well, Razzlevarg himself, right? So having increased speed in Clan Boss is going to be phenomenal as an option to maybe inject to make your team a little bit faster. What do you guys think? Now, with that being said, we are going to push along. It says Blade Spin, which is on a 4-turn cooldown, is going to be able to be booked down to a 3-turn cooldown. It attacks one enemy 4 times. Before attacking, places an increased attack buff by 50% on this champion for 2 turns. The first and the second hit each have a 75% chance of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. The third and fourth hit each have a 75% chance of placing a decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. Now, this will actually get scaled up to a 100% chance rate when fully booked as well as the extra damage coming from some of the earlier books too. So, being a 5 bookable ability is a little bit higher on the book side, but it sounds like this thing provides a lot going on for you. So, is it worth it? You know, your account will tell you. Now, the Zinogre Essence, which is her passive here, is a 4-turn cooldown, so we have something that's going to trigger inside this. It has a passive effect and an active effect. The passive effect is increases this champion's damage dealt by 1% for every 1% of HP loss. Stacks up to 50%. This increased damage doubles if a target is under decreased defense. You might see some synergy with another champion we just talked about, huh? Or maybe some other champions in the world of Teleria. Now, the active effect is prevents this champion's death and keeps them alive on 1 HP when hit by a fatal hit. If this skill prevents this champion's death, heals them by 50% of their maximum HP, but it will not prevent this death if they are under a heal reduction debuff. So we got to watch out for heal reduction. Increases ally speed in dungeons by 30%. So she could be a lead or a champion for some crucial dungeons, depending on if you have some use for her, huh? I think increased speed, leech, and decreased attack, and increased attack are all very valuable assets, including weaken for the bosses, too. So I can see a really good, easy plug-and-play for her in a lot of various content. Now, with that being said, Zinogre Blade Master is going to be accessible in the game starting on the 11th of January, as well as being possible to acquire through a Champion Fragment event. So look forward to that. Now, I am going to go back and talk about some of the other ones, the ones that I did not get to share with you, which are Alatrion, Blade Master, who's going to be available in the game on the 9th as well, but also is going to be available through in-game activities as well as shards. So you can look forward to pulling shards and maybe seeing if you can get your hands on Alatrion, the one with the scythe, you know. As for Fatalis Blade Master, he is also going to be available only through shards, and he's also going to start being available on the 9th of January. And then we also have the Archer Nergigante, or Nergigante, I don't know how you want to pronounce it, but it's also going to be available through shards and in-game events as well. So activities that you can look forward to. Available starting on the 9th. So we got a lot of them available on the 9th, except for Zinogre, who is going to be a fragment champion, or a fragment event related champion, that you're going to be able to start looking towards or looking forward towards on the 11th and onwards. Now, keep in mind, like I said, most of this event is going to be ending on the 5th of March, so you have to be careful with how active you're going to be within this period of time. The more you are, hopefully you'll be able to acquire some champions along the way. If you plan on pulling shards, I wish you all the best of luck. Now, with that being said, I wonder, are you guys flip it to me, how does these champions look? I think they look phenomenal. Personally, for me, my fan favorite one right now is, I'm going to have to say it, I think it's Rathalos. It's the one that we're going to get for free, which is kind of cool. The coolest looking champion. Now, in terms of kit and aesthetic, we haven't had a chance to see the other 2 or the other 3 champions available to us. So I wonder if there's other content creators that may have had access to those champion kits, or maybe we all have to wait for, you know, whenever they go live in the game. So when they do, we'll definitely do a breakdown as best we can, and we'll show you guys a little bit more of what's going on and what to expect. So with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the world of Teleria, where we battle like monster hunters. Always stay ascended.